Making headlines. President announces the government's plan to submit 2 bills to parliament aimed at addressing the drug epidemic and banning gang-related crimes in the Maldives. Environment Minister voices the Maldives' concern regarding the $300 billion allocated for climate finance, and Cities Minister holds over 200.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to PSM News in English with me, Hafiz Abdul Sattar. And now the news in detail. President Dr. Mohamed Muiz announces the government's plan to submit 2 bills to Parliament aimed at addressing the drug epidemic and banning gang-related crimes in the Maldives.
On a social media post, President Muizu highlighted that one of the biggest obstacles hindering state agencies' efforts to combat the drug crisis lies in the inadequacies of the current Drugs Act. To address these shortcomings, the government, in consultation with relevant agencies, will review the Act and submit the necessary amendments to the Parliament this week. These changes are expected to streamline the investigation and prosecution of drug-related cases. Also, the government will introduce the newly formulated Gang Crimes Prohibition Bill to Parliament within the next 2 weeks. This legislation is intended to replace the existing Gang Crimes Prohibition Act with the goal of curbing gang-related activities closely linked to drug offences. The President expressed his gratitude to the Maldivian public for their continued cooperation in seeking lasting solutions to these pressing issues. Ministry of Homeland Security and Technology has already forwarded the draft bills to the Attorney General's office for final review. Under the current Drugs Act, the most severe punishment is life imprisonment, which is 25 years, and a fine ranging between $6,473 to $647,000. However, the proposed amendments introduce the death penalty for drug smugglers. Clause 1 of the draft amendments specifies that importation of more than 500 grams of drugs will be punishable by death. The article outlines 139 types of drugs and trafficking in these substances when meeting the specified weight criteria would result in capital punishment upon conviction. The proposed amendments include significant changes to the powers of the drug court, provisions of rehabilitation, and criteria for classifying activities as drug trafficking. Notably, drug trafficking will encompass financing drug operations and providing facilities or vehicles for smuggling.
Minister of Tourism Ibrahim Faisal announces that the Maldives is expected to welcome 2.4 million tourists next year, surpassing the 2.2 million tourist arrivals projected in the 2025 national budget. Speaking about the outlook for the tourism industry, Minister Faisal expressed confidence in a promising year ahead, driven by concerted efforts to boost visitor numbers. The minister revealed plans to expand promotional activities into new markets to further enhance tourist arrivals. With these targeted efforts, the government is optimistic about achieving the ambitious goal of 2.4 million visitors in 2025. This year, the Maldives is supposed to set a new tourism milestone by welcoming 2 million tourists. According to Minister Faisal, the 2 millionth visitor is expected to arrive on December 26th. As of now, 1.7 million tourists have visited the Maldives in 2024, reflecting a 9.2% increase compared to 1.6 million tourist arrivals during the same period in 2023. To meet this year's target, 353,673 additional tourists are expected in December. The government remains optimistic about maintaining this growth trajectory with plans to further diversify and strengthen the Maldives tourism sector in the years ahead. Minister of Climate Change, Environment and Energy, Tariq Ibrahim, has voiced the Maldives' concerns regarding the $300 billion allocated for climate finance at the COP29 summit, stating it falls short of what is needed to address the climate crisis.
In an exclusive interview with BBC, Environment Minister Thorik shared the Maldives' perspective on the decision made at the summit. While the Maldives does not consider the approved amount adequate, the minister noted that the country accepted the decision in the spirit of fostering multilateral cooperation. Highlighting the Maldives' climate initiatives, Minister Thorik stated that the government aims to transition 33% of the nation's energy consumption to renewable energy. He emphasized that achieving this goal, which is a key policy of President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu, requires significant financial support. During the interview, the minister outlined the challenges faced by the Maldives due to climate change, including unprecedented heavy rainfall this year, coastal erosion, and water salinity issues. He underscored the urgent need for foreign financial assistance to address these issues effectively.
One of the ambitious programs that our President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu has rolled out is to have 33% of our electricity to be generated from renewable energy during the next 4 years. So for these programs, we need a lot of external financing. We cannot do it on our own. We don't have that fiscal space, but we need this kind of ambitious project to transition to renewable energy immediately.
Minister Thorik reiterated that the $300 billion pledged at COP29 is insufficient and emphasized the necessity for this funding to be provided as free aid rather than loans. He argued that developing countries require substantially more support, estimating that $1.3 trillion annually will be needed by 2035 to combat the effects of climate change. The minister also criticized major countries for their reluctance to provide adequate financial assistance despite being the largest contributors to greenhouse gas emissions. He pointed out that these nations are allocating significant resources to warfare while neglecting the urgency of addressing climate change.
And now we'll take a short break for Isha prayers. Stay tuned.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة والدرجة الرفيعة وبعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته وارزقنا شفاعته برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصلى الله على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Kademen demium mihar tiulani bida eteria vannanta akutangas me nikunnam onna jaagaye me wheelchair be sarwaga onna me slope adala onna jaaga magegge kamma timiyona nila korangala me ebbes pikapaka goliyengale kinu ava mitanu nikumenekota ekak portama dima kur dem mina mer mijaage එක ගහන නුවද වේනේ me wheelchair ඇචි දාන් onna තනකේ එහෙම් මෙවන මිමියම් මෙහෙ දෙකොත නහදාරේ මගු කංකම් මතීග විගොතන් ආස් සාකල් නුබහට්ටාරේ රංගලො කමෙ නූනේ එබා රංගලො කොල්දාන.
Welcome back to PSM News in English, and now we'll continue with the news. The Ministry of Cities, Local Government and Public Works, Adam Sharif Umar, holds over 280 meetings with councils across the Maldives over the past year to address their concerns and identify key issues. He made this announcement while speaking at the opening ceremony of a workshop aimed at strengthening the administration of local councils and administrative areas. During his remarks, Minister Adam Sharif highlighted the ministry's extensive efforts over the past year to resolve challenges faced by councils. He stated that these meetings provided valuable insights into the situation of councils across the country. As part of these initiatives, the ministry is set to sign agreements to commence the construction of new council buildings in the near future. The minister also unveiled the establishment of a new cluster system to enhance coordination with councils nationwide. The system divides the country into 7 regions, each overseen by an executive and a coordinator from the ministry. This approach is designed to foster closer collaboration between the ministry and councils in the atolls. The workshop launched by the ministry is focused on strategies to strengthen the ministry's work in the coming year. It also serves as a platform for employees to raise concerns, exchange views, and propose improvements to the organization and regulations governing the ministry's work. The Ministry of Higher Education, Labour and Skills Development has reported receiving 500 applications from a single country for admission to the medical school under the Maldives National University, MNU. The announcement was made while detailing the ministry's achievements over the past year.
State Minister for Higher Education, Labour and Skills Development, Dr. Abdullah Nazir, emphasized the significant strides made during President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu's first year in office, highlighting efforts to build human capital in the Maldives. Dr. Nazir noted the growing interest of foreign students in pursuing higher education in the Maldives, alongside Maldivian students seeking opportunities abroad. He revealed that 500 applications from one country were submitted in January this year for the MNU Medical School. Currently, the MNU Medical School has prioritized enrollment for Maldivian students due to limited space and high local demand. However, the government aims to address this by establishing a larger state-of-the-art medical school in Hulmale to accommodate more students, including those from abroad. Dr. Nazir outlined ongoing efforts to introduce international student visas and draft legislation to facilitate foreign students' access to education in the Maldives. A new facility is also being developed in Hulmale to provide convenient accommodation for international students. The State Minister highlighted the government's goal of increasing foreign student enrollment to 5% of the 20,000 students currently pursuing higher education in the Maldives within the next 5 years.
Managing Director of State Trading Organization STO and Maldives Industrial Development Free Zone Company, Shimad Ibrahim, has announced that practical works on the agricultural economic zone will commence in the early 2026.
The project follows an agreement signed in March this year between MIDFZ and China Harbour Engineering Company Limited, aimed at ensuring food security in the Maldives by establishing an agricultural economic zone. The initiative includes reclaiming 100 hectares of land to create the necessary space for the project. Shimad explained the land reclamation was chosen due to the need for a large, continuous area to maximize the project's efficiency and profitability. He stated while smaller islands are available, consolidating the project in one large location was deemed more effective. In addition to agricultural activities, the zone will feature a training center and accommodation blocks. The agricultural economic zone will cultivate various vegetables and fruits while also producing poultry and chicken eggs. Shimad highlighted that the project is expected to have a significant impact on the Maldives' food imports, reducing dependence on foreign markets. He expressed optimism that the zone would address a large portion of the country's food needs and help lower consumer prices. As part of the agreement, the project will include land reclamation in Uturutilafar UTF, the development of primary infrastructure, an agricultural industrial park, passenger and freight terminals, and other necessary facilities. MIDFZ stated that this initiative aims to revitalize the Maldivian agricultural sector by attracting investors, boosting domestic production, and diversifying the range of locally available food products. The project is also expected to reduce reliance on imports and minimize the outflow of foreign currency. Meanwhile, Minister of Economic Development and Trade Mohammad Said described the initiative as a pivotal step towards cultivating 80% of approximately 15 varieties of vegetable and fruits commonly consumed in the Maldives. Also, Minister of Agriculture and Animal Welfare Dr. Aishat Ramila announced that the government has identified the specific crops to be grown and outlined the extent to which imports could be reduced following the project's implementation.
Maldives Ports Limited MPL announces plans to construct a 25-story mixed-use building on the site of the current port complex. The announcement was made by MPL's Chief Executive Officer CEO Muhammad Wajih Ibrahim during a program aired on PSM News.
The ambitious project will feature luxury apartments and commercial spaces, offering significant business opportunities. CEO Muhammad Wajih highlighted that the building will include dedicated parking facilities with several floors reserved exclusively for parking. Expressing confidence in the project's potential, Wajih stated with this initiative, MPL aims to become the highest revenue-generating company in the Maldives. In addition to this major development, CEO outlined MPL's priorities for the coming year, which includes relocating the commercial port to Tilafushi. Preparatory works for this relocation will commence in 2025. Furthermore, MPL plans to enhance the operations of ports in Addu City and Kurudufushi City as part of its broader strategy to improve nationwide port infrastructure. MPL expects the 25-story building to contribute significantly to MPL's revenue while addressing growing demands for housing and business facilities in the Maldives.
As Bitcoin approaches $100,000, stallholders in a South London market say accepting the cryptocurrency has led to extra sales.
Co-founder of the Bitcoin Collective newsletter, Jordan Walker, said using the cryptocurrency is about trust. Bitcoin touched a fresh record high on Friday with its sights set firmly on the $100,000 barrier in a stellar rally for the cryptocurrency sparked by expectations of a more friendly regulatory environment under a Donald Trump administration. It has more than doubled in value this year and is up about 45% since Trump's sweeping election victory on November 5th, which has also seen a slew of pro-crypto lawmakers being elected to Congress. Bitcoin Collective advisor Jeremy Casey said this made the currency a talking point. So far in its roughly 15-year history, the currency has failed to catch on as a means of payment, and merchants often point to its volatility as a reason. But its recent gains mean Bitcoin appears to be on the cusp of mainstream acceptance for the first time since its creation.
Lebanese citizens in Beirut expressed hope regarding a potential ceasefire between Hezbollah and Israel.
US President Joe Biden and French President Emmanuel Macron are expected to announce a ceasefire in Lebanon between armed group Hezbollah and Israel imminently, 4 senior Lebanese sources said. The French presidency said discussions on a ceasefire had made significant progress. In Jerusalem, a senior Israeli official said Israel's cabinet would meet to approve a truce deal with Hezbollah. Diplomacy is aimed at getting Iran-backed Hezbollah and Israel to end fighting that erupted in October 2023 in parallel with Israel's war against Hamas. The conflict in Lebanon has drastically escalated over the last 2 months. In Beirut, Lebanon's deputy parliament speaker told Reuters there were no serious obstacles left to start implementing a US proposed ceasefire with Israel unless Netanyahu changes his mind. He said the proposal would entail an Israeli military withdrawal from the South Lebanon and regular Lebanese army troops deploying in the border region along Hezbollah stronghold within 60 days.
Groundbreaking research at the University of Queensland has found performance-focused sports training improves clinical outcomes for people with severe disabilities. The competitive swimming program developed by UQ for young people with severe cerebral palsy has reversed motor decline associated with the condition. They now hope to implement the program across Australia.
Nate Woolgar was never a big lover of the pool.
Before this program, I could not swim at all.
But now he's hunting new personal bests and is a frequent swimmer at competitions.
Nice work. Big deep breaths.
It is a really big portion of my life, and I do really enjoy coming here, and I don't see myself slowing down anytime soon.
The 23-year-old has been a pilot participant of the University of Queensland's Parastart research program for young people with severe cerebral palsy.
We started with 3 participants. We're now at 27 participants and we have a 0% dropout rate.
They were given a competitive swimming program designed for para-athletes. This includes 2 to 3 pool sessions, strength, diet and sleep training.
We measured our participants' gross motor function at the time they were enrolled, and our participants, if they'd just maintained their gross motor function, that would have been a positive outcome. But actually our participants improved gross motor function.
The benefits aren't just physical.
The social connections, the independence, so getting here on his own, getting all his gear sorted, his safety, etc. It's life-changing.
Data was collected over 4 years. Now researchers hope to expand.
We think that there's a real prospect that findings that we've got with such strong science behind it, we're in a position to really change practice, how people with cerebral palsy are managed across Australia.
Sport has a lot of therapeutic benefits.
Jessica Stewart, ABC News, Brisbane.
And that's all we have for this hour. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a very pleasant time ahead.
ಗೌಮಿಯತುಗ ಎಬಯಕ ಲಿಬಿಫಾವಾಣೆ ಎಮ್ಮೆ ಬೊಡು ಎಮ್ಮೆ ಅಗುಬೊಡು ಎರ್ ರೌಸುಲ್ ಮಾಲಕಿ ಎಬಯಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾದರಿ ಬಸ್ ಮಾದರಿ ಬಹಕಿ ಅಮಿಲ್ಲ ಕೌಮಿ ಸಗಾಫತೆ ಉಫದ್ದಾದೆ ವಾಸಿತ ಸಬಕಿ ಸಗಾಫತೆ ಉಫಂ ಕುರುವ